everybody, it's Cody, Dixieland RC here. So as the title shows, today we're going to build the most hated comp truck ever. If you've been following along with stuff on Facebook, you know what's going on. So I had this plan to do way before all that happened, so whatever, but anyway. So the plan here is to build a all Powerhobby comp rig. Now, I say all, but all can't technically be correct because the body can't be, a Powerhobby product. They don't really make an ESC and a motor that's worthy of using. I mean, they have a 1040 variant and then some just simple brushed motors, but we're not going to use that. And then the radio. But everything else I'm going to use that's going to be a Powerhobby variant of some sort, or being able to buy it from Powerhobby or myself or whichever. So first off, I got in the description how this chassis was put together. I did show that. This is the first 10.2 LCG chassis they came out with. They have since come out with another one, and there is one more on top of that one also. This is the one that includes links and a skid and like body mounts and all kinds of and side plates, things like that. The second one doesn't have links. I think the second one is designed to like directly bolt up to a 10.2 or Element or something along the lines of that. Since that's happened, they have released multiple other things. They have a full nylon set of portals that are a 10.2 based portal. AR-44 gears fit in the inside of it. They have, brass parts that go on this and things like that also. So this technically is like a build, but it's also like an unboxing and review of multiple different products, because all the stuff besides the chassis I have not messed with until I built this. I have already put this together. I've taken it apart so I can show you guys what to do. So they've released a ton of different things. These portal axles, they've released a LCG, overdrive transmission. You know what that looks like. I'm not going to say it out loud, but you know. But they have multiple different kinds. They've got black, red, and then carbon fiber. And it's like a clear plastic one. It does have carbon fiber. I mean, not a bad little deal for the amount of money you spend on it. I think this is $59.99. It comes with a spur, a locker, everything you need. Even comes with a Delrin skid. Only thing I will say with that thing right there is the chrome or stainless screws that it comes with. Just throw those in the garbage and find something else to use, because they are the worst. I stripped out one of them just putting in the skid on the side, and just horrible. So past that, they come out with a bunch of different variants of 1.9 carbon fiber bead locks. I'm using the 6-hole ones here. So 6 big holes, 6 little holes. They do come with a carbon face, lightweight aluminum it's got like little holes in it, so it's cut. Back plate, and then like a center ring is a lightweight aluminum as well with some holes cut in also. It does come with a 6-lug, like almost looks like a Vanquish style hub. I'm sure that's what it's based off of. And then they've also intertwined with Jetco tires to make a tire they call the Grabber, which is a pin style tire in a 1.9 size, like 4.7 I think is what it is. Very good tire, very sticky. So I know this tire is not class 2 compliant, but I mean, if you're just going out and playing, it doesn't really matter. Most places I don't think really are very super picky on that. I mean, you have to check with your local place, whoever it is you're racing or driving with. But for my idea was, so, there's so many different comp chassis out right now. You've got the Vanquish, the VRD, the SCX10 Pro, you got the Red Cat Ascent, and then I think there's a couple other ones. Of course, there's there's like 5 or 6 companies that make chassis that you can ground up, build whatever you want. My idea was to have one done with Powerhobby, and it's not a bunch of money. I think all of this together is less than $400, and then you got to just tack on a body, motor ESC and a servo, and then a radio. And that's pretty much all you're going to need besides anything else you may want to make that work. You don't have to buy a skid because it comes with this transmission. You don't have to buy a pinion because it comes with this transmission. You don't have to buy any links because it comes with the kit. The portals come with links to utilize either servo on axle or a CMS. It actually has a panhard mount spot there. You have to figure out something to put on the chassis itself, because this one is set up for servo on axle. I am going to run servo on axle on this one only because the other two comp rigs are servo on axle. The 10-2 Pro, or excuse me, the 10 Pro is a servo on axle, and the Element SE is also on servo on axle. And when I changed the chassis rails on that, spoiler alert, that is what in game for that comp build, you know, the budget build is to put a chassis rail set on that body or on that chassis, and that will get one of those and it will stay servo on axle. So I mean, I'm just trying to keep them all relatively the same, and also mainly because this one doesn't really have, there's not really a spot to put a chassis mounted servo. I'm sure you could figure it out. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to do, but we're just going to keep it like that to make it, you know, to make them all kind of the same. Now, like I said, I've put this one together already, so I've kind of figured out what needs to be done here and there. You know, what needs to be cut, what needs to be not cut, what needs to be, you know, fabbed up, whatever you need to do. So I've left the body mounts where they are because that's for the body that goes on it. All I had to really do is change the lower front links. I had to change the rod ends to the boom rod ends because the ones that come in the kit are all straight, and it kind of makes it, I don't know, it's just weird. But also, on the other hand, these front links, the upper links, are these weird, you know, like Z. You can kind of see them right there. They are just like a Z, and they are pretty funky as well. Don't pay no attention to my shocks on here. Just using some TRX4 shocks just for mock-up purposes only. I'm going to use the, I think I'm going to use the internal spring 90 mils from Powerhobby. Basically, they're kind of like a Desert Lizard, but they're not. There's something else about them I haven't gotten them and haven't pulled them out of the box yet to see what is actually different about them. There's something about them that's different than, say, the other ones. We'll see. And we're going to run, you know, lightweight wheels and tire setup. We're going to put brass on these axles whenever I get brass for them. There is brass, like there's an outer cover here for the front and the rear, and you get brass diff covers as well. I've gone in, I've taken all these apart and made sure there's grease in them as well. Good idea to do. There is grease in them, but you know, it's always a good idea to do. So I'm going to build this, and then you'll get to see it when it's together. And oh, the other thing, I don't have drive shafts yet. I've measured. I just have to order some from Powerhobby. I haven't done it yet. They have some that are basically like almost like the G-Made one or the Junfac ones, but they're not. I don't think that's probably going to be the one thing that I'm going to wind up changing to something else, only because the center part of where the yoke is, it's brass, and that always seems to wear out with all these. For some odd reason, they use brass. I don't know why, but they don't last. So we're going to come around. I'm going to have it over top, and we're just going to build this thing. I'm not going to bore you with, you know, it being in real time, because real time is going to take, it doesn't take that long, but it's not going to be quick, and it's just boring to watch me sit there and do that. So I'll time lapse it, and then when it's together, we'll go over all the different things and things that I think may need to be changed, because I have a couple of little ideas on things that may need to be changed. I don't know for sure yet. We'll just have to see when we get there. All the links, the rear ones I changed from a stock link to, I just found a TRX4 link that I had laying around that actually wound up being the correct length. I don't know why it was different. I think it was different because of this lower, or this skid. The rear links go in a little bit further than, say, a normal skid. So I think that it changed the geometry of how the axle was going to sit. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. It's been a while since I put that together. But so hang tight. We're going to get to building. All right, so quick little build, nothing crazy. I had already put it together a couple times, so I kind of figured out what to do to make it kind of quick. I probably could have done this without doing the time lapse. So a couple things. I think the biggest hindrance in this setup is going to be these upper links in the front, this Z thing. because when it moves the axle a little bit. It's almost like it's too stiff. It doesn't have enough free movement kind of deal. I think these rear links need to be changed to something smaller, which they don't touch. They're close, but they don't touch exactly. So, is this going to be the best comp chassis out there? I mean, it might be, depending on who's driving it. Me driving it, no, not at all. But on the other side of it is, if you want to build a comp style chassis and don't want to put a ton of money into it, I'm going to flash up what just these parts here minus the shocks cost is pretty cheap. It's not that bad. Now, you have to really determine to yourself if you want to build one that's with all these parts here. I don't know. I mean, probably the only thing I'm really going to do with this one is change these front upper links to, from the inside, just a small link, just something to give it a little bit more free motion, free range kind of deal. So I know once I put all this together and put a servo in, I'm going to have to move this brace up because it is right in the way of the servo. I'm not putting a low profile servo in it, so it's going to have to be something, it's going to be a big servo. And it's going to be a Powerhobby servo too as well. Go with the theme here. If you haven't caught, that's what the theme of this particular rig is. So only other thing I cut some of the front part of the chassis off. As you see there, it is shaved off. There's 2 spots missing. I did that because of the way the body was fitting. You haven't seen the body yet. You'll see it next go around. But we're going to do 3 segments of this. It's going to be chassis build, then electronic or body, and then electronics. Mainly for the electronics, we're waiting on them to get here. I'm going to run something. I've never run one of these before in anything. I never have bought one before, so I wanted to try it out and see how it goes. But everything else should be that should be it. And then we'll drive it. I can't wait for that. Then we'll do upgrades. We'll do some brass in places because right now there's no brass on it, and it is a pretty light chassis. I will weigh it whenever we put electronics in it to get you a weight of what this truck is with electronics in it. I'm sure it's going to be still pretty light depending on what it is you go with. This particular setup with this chassis and this transmission, there is not a bunch of room from here to here. I don't think you could run a big 550 can in here, maybe not even a 540 can. I'll grab some 540 cans and measure or at least put them in here to see if they'll fit. I don't think they will. It's going to be, because it angles so much, there's such an angle to this setup that I don't think anything will fit. It's going to either hit the links or hit the chassis. But I'm gonna run an outrunner. Go ahead and just spill the beans on that. I've never run an outrunner before in any of my vehicles, except for the Fury wagon. It comes with one, but it's so small I don't really count it. I've never had a 10th scale rig with an outrunner, so I wanted to try it, and we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. I don't really know how it's gonna go yet, but we're gonna give it a shot and see, and then that's it. So. All in all, I think this is going to be a cool little truck. I haven't built a class to, like a ground up comp rig in quite a while. The last one I did was that TRX4 one, and I wound up selling it before I even finished building it. This one I'm going to finish building, and we're going to actually drive it because I kind of want to see how this stuff works together, if it even works at all, see how well it'll actually crawl. Oh, hey, another point I forgot about but when I was building, I remembered this rear axle housing has 2 spots for the rear upper links. Most time you buy one and then you buy like a link riser. This one it's not as high as a link riser, don't get me wrong, but it does raise it up a good 2 millimeters. So that's, that gives you a little bit more there as far as for your approach and things like that. So pretty cool that's already inside of this, on this housing as well. I think really about the only thing I dislike about this particular chassis kit is these metal body mounts. They're very loose. They're not very tight at all. I don't really know if those are going to stick around. They might mainly for the fact that the body has got the holes drilled for it that fit this here. I should have thought about that before I drilled holes, but whatever. It'll be fine. No big deal. We'll make it work. And to be honest, once the body's on it, it's not really that noticeable, but whenever it's off, you can hear it. That's what's jiggling is these, and it kind of drives me crazy, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. I don't know if I'm going to keep these rear shocks at this angle. I might move them into the second body mount here. Don't quite know yet. We'll see. Well, let me get the actual shocks that I'm going to use in, and if I cannot get those actual shocks, we're probably going to use TRX4 shocks. I'll throw some 50 weight in these and put a bunch of green slime in them, and then put some soft springs on them. I really wanted to try and use the Powerhobby ones, but I think blacks are on back order right now, or just not available. And I want to go black, but I think with the body, I might do silver. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, whatever. But that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody, on this part 1 of the most hated comp build. And we'll see you next time.